allô. Le coq de l'école, le coq de l'école, allô, allô. Le coq de l'école, le coq de l'école, allô, allô.
The number 10 movie of the year is Hands of Stone. And if you're not a boxing fan, you won't have a single clue of who this movie is for or who it's about. I think the funniest thing about Hands of Stone is that Usher Raymond was bragging, "Yeah, I just got casted to be Sugar Ray Leonard in a new boxing movie about his life." Man, his acting must have been bad because a few months after he made that announcement, I found out they called Robert De Niro, asked him if he could play a boxing trainer, and they used him to headline the movie. And then they turned the whole movie about a dude from Panama, Roberto Duran, that fought against Sugar Ray. Dude, your acting got to be terrible, Usher. If they go from it being your movie all the way to the dude who you beat up who said no mas, no mas. And you got to throw in Robert De Niro's name to give it some credibility. But aside from Usher doing all that jacking like he had really came up, it's a really slept on movie. Very beautiful cinematography, and it also gives you a real kind of funny look. You know, women like to say side eye, but that's kind of feminine, so I can't use that term. But it makes you look at the United States in a different way because the people in Panama, they wasn't feeling us too much because we was doing some dirty stuff. You know what I mean? So, but check it out on Redbox as soon as it comes out. I guarantee you that you'll enjoy it. All right, number nine, the ninth best movie of 2016 on Track Lacer's list, and I guess it is kind of funny that y'all care about my opinion, but here it goes anyway. Was Money Monster. Now this is the movie with George Clooney, and he plays. I'm trying to think of the best parallel to give you, man. I want to say CNN, but it would almost be like if Bill Maher or Trevor Noah from The Daily Show had a TV show where they gave financial advice. So they're giving you financial advice, but they also are funny and entertaining. So he kind of had a show like that. And basically, man, he gave somebody some bad advice, and that white boy wasn't trying to hear it. He came to the show while they was filming live and had a bomb and said, man, we shutting everything down until I get some answers. And part of the reason why the movie is so good is if you take a movie and it's based off of 24 hours in a day, and then you sit in the theater for an hour and 45 minutes, and you feel like you went through that whole day, like that's an accomplishment. You know, most movies are over weeks and months, sometimes years. But to have a movie where you kind of in suspense about what's going to happen because you don't really know what the police reaction is going to be to this brother who, or white boy who held up the whole television studio set, that's some pretty good movie making. And Julia Roberts did a good job as the second, the supporting actress in the movie. But Clooney did his thing on there. The new kid who played the one who was trying to take everybody hostage, he did a good job too. And very sad kind of towards the end, but in terms of a movie, it just keep your attention the whole way through. Money Monsters, number nine. All right, this particular review, I got to shout out my boys in Atlanta, my number one road dogs, Young Jazz, Young Lonzy, because we call Don Cheadle the GOAT. Uh, Probably the greatest actor of all time that never really gets acknowledged for being a great actor. Like I don't think he's ever gonna win an Oscar. And this movie is another example. Number 8 on the list is Miles Ahead. This is the movie where he played Miles Davis, and you know they call these movies biopic that Jamie Foxx made famous when he portrayed Ray. And it was a shame. I saw the movie in Atlanta, and when I went to see it in Atlanta, it was only playing in like I want to say like 3 theaters in the whole city. Only 3 theaters had it, so I had to move around just to make sure I saw it. And then the movie is phenomenal. It's like I never knew that Miles Davis was such a mean dude. Like dude is like a pit bull walking on 2 feet. But definitely as soon as it comes out on Redbox, y'all gotta get it. It might even be on Netflix now. I think it is on Netflix. So check Netflix for Miles Ahead, Miles, Miles Ahead, and you'll really enjoy it. And something else about this movie to trip y'all out: the budget. It only cost them $344,000 to make this movie. And even though they didn't show it in all the theaters, they made $5 million. Dude, 344,000. You know how they say, a small amount of money is peanuts? Fam, that's Tic Tacs. That's Mike and Ike's. That's now laters. Like 300,000 ain't even gonna get you a meeting with Jennifer Lawrence to talk about a script, let alone make a movie. So salute to y'all for getting that off. So it might not win an Oscar, but at least it made a profit. All right, number 7 on the list. Number 7, top 10 movies of 2016. Okay, I can't do it that long. Light skinned dude, I'll be turning purple instead of blue on y'all. Is Don't Breathe. Man, Don't Breathe. You know what? It's the kind of movie you can't even really review it without spoiling everything. Like it's very rare that you have a movie that if you talk about it, it's almost 100% sure that you're gonna spoil the movie itself. So it's one of the few movies you just have to go see it. Cause anything I try to give you in depth about it will be spoiling it. But it's very intense. Basically, a blind man that used to be a soldier in the military. I mean, he live in. Dude, I heard about the east side of Detroit and the west side of Detroit. Dog, what? Dog, he must live on the Vietnam side. Like I ain't never seen no parts of Detroit that look that hood. Like it wasn't even black thug ghetto hood, man. It just looked like third world country hood. But these, young kids, they call themselves, I guess, semi-professionals, breaking and entering specialists, and they think they gonna have a drop on this dude because they found out he was blind. And let's just say they picked the wrong person. And let's also say that there's a scene in this movie that you cannot unsee. It will mess you up forever. But it's still worth seeing, especially if you're a fan of scary movies slash thrillers. Only reason that this isn't a horror movie is because it's a natural person. This ain't Freddy Krueger or something, but it's this close to being a horror movie. How nasty or how rough this dude is. Coming in at number 6, the sixth best movie of 2016 is a film called Deadpool. As much as y'all know that I love the superhero slash comic book movies, I'm realistic in the sense that most of them aren't good enough to make a top 10. You know what I'm saying? Um, in some ways, they almost like their own separate category of movies, but every now and then, comic book movies are good enough to be even considered for an Oscar, like The Dark Knight. Rest in peace to Heath Ledger. So this one, Deadpool, definitely wasn't good enough for an Oscar, but I think that you definitely are making the top 10 if you are the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time. Um, I just wrote on a separate website that it was the highest grossing R-rated comedy of all time. Come to find out, I was wrong. There has never been an R-rated movie that's ever made this much money. And I saw it Valentine's weekend in the theater on opening night. I think I watched it Saturday morning instead of, I usually go on Thursdays. But the theater was packed and it was just funny all the way through. I mean, it got a little bit annoying sometimes, sometimes, just Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds just wouldn't shut up. He just wouldn't stop talking. And every now and then that got kind of irritating. But to be a superhero movie that makes fun of superhero movies is kind of refreshing and different. And also, just the fact that, I mean, they even made Colossus funny. Like, he was probably the highlight of the movie. Like, I was not expecting for him to even have a personality. Because, in the regular X-Men movies, he don't even have a personality. But he was almost as funny as Ryan Reynolds was. And the only thing they can do with Deadpool from here is mess it up because the first one was very entertaining. It was very different. So I hope that they can keep it together in terms of what they're gonna come up with for us next time. All right, we at number 5 now, so that means we halfway through with the list. Coming in at number 5 is Captain America Part 3, aka Captain America Civil War. And the thing about this is that it costs $250 million to make, and they made $1 billion. So they flipped their money. They doubled. Uh, well, yeah, more than doubled. They All right, stop making fun of me. My math isn't that good, but they almost tripled what they put into it. All right, and I think that a fair criticism of it is that Captain America, in a lot of ways, wasn't the attraction in this movie. They were calling it Avengers 2.5, but I think the problem is that Robert Downey is just so much of a better actor than Chris Evans, who plays Captain America. And so, since he's so much of a better actor and they gave him a serious, like, little storyline, he just outshined Captain America. So, since Captain America and Iron Man are the two main characters, and then Iron Man is kind of shining over him, then once you bring in Black Panther and Spider Man, really ain't nobody thinking about Captain America. You could even make an argument that Ant Man was more entertaining in this movie than Captain America was. Um, and real fun atmosphere. Shout out to my boy Lonzy down in Atlanta too. Uh, Treated him to go see it opening night, because he's like a comic book movie head like myself. And that was in Duluth. So if y'all know about Duluth, the cinema grill, and the atmosphere was kind of rocking in there a little bit. I think me and him were the most hype. But then I took a young lady the same night. I went to see it twice on Thursday night. Took a young lady to see it in Chamblee, Georgia, another suburb of Atlanta. And that theater was off the hook. Like watching Captain America 3 there was like Showtime at the Apollo. Like people was losing their minds off of Ant-Man, off of Falcon, definitely off the airport scene. So if I had to rate a movie just based on having a fun time in the theater, this would be number one. But since that's not what it is, and it's just the top 10, it's number five. But number five is still pretty good, wouldn't you say? The fourth best movie of 2016. And keep in mind, if you have a grandmother, if you have a grandfather, or if you have a love for homeless people, you will not be able to watch this movie without getting a little tear in your eye. And that's a movie called Almost Christmas. And this is one of those movies that's, what happens with black movies, it's so hard for black people to get parts in Hollywood consistently that most of the time when a black film is made, it has to be like the best man holiday, where they call it, the proper term for it is ensemble cast. But you cram all these black actors into one movie and give them all small parts and stuff to do throughout the movie. The best band and no, not the best man. What is Think Like a Man, the Kevin Hart movies. It's the same premise. Is that a lot of times outside of Denzel and maybe Angela Bassett, black people just don't get roles like that. So they kind of got to put us all in one movie in order for us to really get any shine. But like I said, very good story. Most Christmas movies are always going to be a little bit sappy, but I thought Monique did a good job. Gabrielle Union, I was starting to kind of be cool on her on the acting side, but I think she did a good job. And then Danny Glover is just the OG. Danny Glover really brought his performance home, and I definitely would put it up there in terms of Black Christmas movies. I still think This Christmas with Chris Brown and Lauren London, I still think that's a better movie, but this is pretty close. Highly recommended. All right, number three movie of the year is Birth of a Nation by Nate Parker, who has a name very close to Nat Turner. You almost want to call him Nat Turner when you're referring to him. The names are so closely together. They tried to bring out a rape charge from the 90s when he was at Penn State when this movie came out. How convenient. Um, you probably saw on YouTube or on the news that there was cases where the ushers were telling people, "Oh no, the movie is sold out, so we don't have any more tickets for it," and they actually did, and I think that's crazy. Obviously, the movie didn't do well financially. Tyler Perry's uh, Boo, a Medea, another Medea movie about Halloween, actually made more money than this. But I'm saying this is America. What do you expect? And for all you conscious Hotep Shea Butter people out there, y'all looking real shaky right now. Our boy from Philly, what's our boy's name? Dr. Umar Johnson got y'all looking real crazy. So, and then Brother Polite also got y'all looking crazy with all the scamming he doing. For all y'all that's criticizing this movie and saying Nate Parker didn't do enough of this, he didn't do enough of that. He made the movie. You know what I'm saying? And it didn't make that much money, and it could have killed his career to put it out, but he still put it out. So what y'all doing, man? Enough with y'all intellectual masturbating, man. Y'all always popping off talking about analyzing somebody's stuff, saying what they could have done better and all this. And y'all ain't putting no efforts. Y'all ain't making no sacrifice to make no movie. So shut up, you know. And once again, is the movie difficult to watch? Yeah, it is. But is what we went through as a people difficult? Yeah, it is. You mind your manners at table. Movie number two. That's a quote from the great John Goodman. Uh, I tell you what, man, Roseanne really didn't do that man any justice, man. John Goodman is an incredible actor. And in the movie 10 Cloverfield Lane, uh, it's a movie that it just doesn't seem like it should be that interesting. You got some psycho conspiracy theory nut that's done created a bunker and he's holding people in the bunker and don't let anybody go outside because there's this alien slash monster and he got enough food in there for 4 years and board games and he got VHS tapes to keep you entertained and he's holding people against their will kind of. But not to spoil the story, but turns out he wasn't all the way crazy like we thought, but just the psychological terror of somebody holding you against your will, so called to protect you against a threat that's outside, but then still showing that they have the potential to be just as dangerous as that monster that's on the outside is just a heck of a concept. And it was also just a very good and interesting movie because they just put the trailer out just out of nowhere. Like you can't really keep that many secrets in Hollywood, but they kept it a secret that they was making a sequel to Cloverfield, and even though it's kind of loosely tied to the original, it was still very entertaining. And if you get a chance to see it, you will definitely enjoy it. Let's get down to number one. All right, the number one movie of 2016 is called Southside with You, and the only reason that I went to go see it is because I subscribed to a YouTube channel called What the Flick. Very clever, right? Not the other F word, but What the Flick. And they don't even have any black commentators on there. All the YouTubers that review the movies on this channel are white. Couple of them are gay, and a couple of them are females, and they got a couple, just one straight guy. But one of the guys said Southside with You, the movie about the first date that Barack Obama and Michelle Obama went on, is the best film of the year. And I'm like, what? And I went to go see it in a suburb of Gary, Indiana, in Maryville, Indiana. And, I was on a road trip and I just really needed to relax and kind of get off the road. I had been driving for a long time. And I just went in there to see it during the day. I think it was about 2 or 3 o'clock. It's only a few people in the theater. And man, I could not believe how good the acting was. Um, this dude who plays Barack, I think his name is Parker or Parkers. So you have to excuse me. But Michelle was played by Candy from the Have and Have Nots, aka Tika Sumter. And when you see how well she gets Michelle's accent down, I think they even put a little butt pads because uh, all due respect to the first lady, but she kind of got some dumps, some trunks, some dumps in the trunk, whatever you want to call it. So they had to kind of give her a little extra cushioning back there to resemble it. But her mannerisms, they kind of arched the eyebrows a little higher. Um, and it was set in 1989, so I was a young kid back then. But the movie that they went to go see on their first date Do the Right Thing by Spike Lee. That's from my childhood. The music they was listening to in the car was I Can Tell You How I Feel About You Night and Day by Al B. Sure. All of us remember that from middle school. And they was also listening to Rhythm Nation in the car by Janet Jackson. So, man, it's just a romantic movie, but it also gives you some pride and appreciation of being a black man or black woman in the United States, that our president and first lady was from the south side of Chicago. So they was just regular young black intellectuals from the inner city trying to do something more with their lives. And they both together sat in the most powerful seat in the nation. So, man, if you can see the movie any type of way, I don't care if you buy it, red box it, I think that you will appreciate the movie as much as I did. All right, man, I'm out of here. 2016 was lovely. I got some other videos that I'm gonna try to all upload on the same day. Some other year in review. The 2016 rap cap that I do every year might not get y'all this year. It's definitely not coming out tomorrow. If anything, since I already wrote the song, I might put it out in February in 2017 around the time of my birthday, but I'm not going to guarantee that. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Come down right there where you see that subscribe button and hit that. And also, two of the movies that I reviewed in my top 10, I actually did reviews on my channel for, and you can find the links to those two reviews in the description box. We out of here.